Hi there, I'm Jill Finley at Jill Lily Studio. I'm one of the Riley Blake designers. I have new fabric coming out. I can't wait to show you all the patterns and things associated with this new fabric collection. When I was designing this collection, there was an event near my home which was the inspiration for this. It's called Petals and Pedals. And right near our home there was an old area that had like an old pioneer home. And there were poppies that just grew wild, and every spring people would come by the hundreds to hike or bike towards the poppies. And they would see the poppies and take pictures, and it's a beautiful little spot, and it's what inspired this little fabric collection. So Petals and Pedals has, as you can see, some gorgeous florals, and I'm going to show you, it's also got a lot of bike themes going on. So here's the florals. You can see the florals along the top there. There's a gorgeous black one with red poppies and white with yellow and pink, and then a beautiful gray with yellow poppies. And then all of the other prints in the collection either refer to the flowers, the floral, or to the biking. So there are bicycles, there are bike baskets, there's some bicycle wheels, there's a couple of cute plaids and houndstooths, which are great because they have kind of the feel, a little bit of a feel of fall. And this collection comes out in August. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about it. This collection also includes a panel. Here's the panel in the white version. It also comes in a dark version with a black background. But this is the panel, and it has several blocks. There's a block with a bike with a basket full of flowers. There are quilt blocks in the center that you can cut apart and use any way you want. And then there's another bike block over here that has a basket filled with flowers on the back of the bike. So that's really a fun thing, and I want to show you a couple ways that I have used this bicycle panel. One way is this quilt that's behind me here. This quilt is called Petal Pushers Remix. Now I have a pattern called Petal Pushers which I've had out for a while, but it had an applique block in the center, so it used the same kind of circular wheel blocks throughout the quilt, but had applique in the center. And I wanted to make it a little simpler using this panel, and then I've put two of these blocks in, so it's really fun. So what I've done, you can see right here, I've taken that block and cut it apart and put it into the middle of the piecing of the quilt. Yeah, so there's no applique, simple for anyone to do. This makes this pattern very simple. This block with the back of the bike is right down here. So you can see that. And then these wheel blocks, I call them wheel blocks because they're circular like a wheel. And whenever I've done them in black, like here and right here, I've put some rickrack to act as spokes in the bike. So it gives you the feeling of movement across the quilt. The other thing that gives this quilt a lot of movement is this background fabric, which is included in this collection. This is one of the Petals and Pedals prints, and it's got some really cute little prints on it. It says, "Through fields and meadows, fresh picked flowers, cycle along the pathway." Just cute little sayings about biking and having fun out in the sunshine. So that's the white panel, or the panel in the lighter color. And then I've got another project to show you that uses the panel. And this is my Peddler retreat bag. This retreat bag is so fun. I go to a lot of quilt retreats, and I wanted a bag that was big enough to hold some of the larger things that I carry with me. So this is a giant bag, I will admit that, but it's going to hold a lot. Let me show you what we can pull out of here. There's lots to do with lots of room in this bag. You can see that even if it's empty, it still stands up, doesn't flop over, and has the structure that makes it easy to load and unload. My straps are so cute because the straps have this little bit that came off the panel, the little border on the panel, I've sewn on top of the strap. And the webbing straps are very strong, and they go all the way around the bag so that it will support the weight of whatever you put in it. Your straps aren't going to break. And I've made it so that I have a little bit of, what would you call that? I put a little dart at the bottom of each pocket so that the pockets kind of give you extra room to stick stuff in there. So that is the Peddler Retreat bag. I know you're going to love it, and it's simple to make. We'll set that aside, and let me show you some other things that we can make with this panel. Okay, this cute little table runner you see here is called the Spokes Runner, and it uses the panel as well. Very simple little project. You do cut the blocks from the panel apart and then piece them in with some plain blocks to create the Spokes Runner, and it can be done in either the white or the black. And those are the projects that use the panel, but of course I'm sure there's hundreds of other things you can think of to do with this really fun panel. So next I want to show you this cute little quilt. This is a sample of one of the quilts that we've got in this collection called Meadow. Actually, it's called Meadowland. Let me pull it open here. This is Meadowland right here. And Meadowland is 83 inches square, so it's a big queen size quilt, but I only had strike-offs to work with, so I've made this little sample of Meadowland. Isn't that fun? It uses the greens and yellows from this collection, so I always love how a collection can look really, really diverse depending which pieces you pull from it to sew on. Now this Meadowland, it has some simple piecing, and then I've just appliqued a little tiny bit of applique adds so much to this project, and that's called Meadowland. One of the other quilts, this one uses a roly-poly, and this is called Think Positive, and it uses all of the prints in the collection, along with a little bit of extra yardage for backgrounds and borders. But isn't that fun? That's a fun little project. And this is simple too, because it's just 9 patch blocks alternated with plus sign blocks. Okay, I brought in my sample of poppy fields to show you, and this is the quilt that is, the real quilt will be 40 inches square. Here's what it looks like on the color card or storyboard, and this quilt, I didn't have enough fabric because I'm using strike-offs to make the whole thing, but this is a good sample, and it's mostly piecing but has a tiny bit of applique in this detailed border. And then there's one more border that goes on after this, and it's the main print, and so that will continue on to make it 40 inches square. But isn't that a sweet quilt? I love the combination of red and greens together. The next pattern I want to show you is called Posy Party, and here it is right here in the color card, and or the storyboard. I will tell you that this is a pattern, a very popular pattern of mine that is out of print, because the only place it was printed was in a book, and so I hadn't ever published it as a separate pattern. So now I'm going to publish it as a separate pattern using this collection. Here are the blocks. Aren't these fun blocks? With a little bit of applique, and there's 16 of these. I've only made 4 because that's all the fabric I had. Okay, this is the main block in this Posy Party quilt, and I've laid them out like they would be in the center of the Posy Party quilt. Of course, this is a fun block which you can lay out so many different ways, and it would really be delightful any way that you put it together. But that is really extra special when it's done with these fabrics. I think they really speak to this pattern. That one's called Posy Party. All of these patterns are available through Riley Blake. When you order your fabric, remember to get the panels because you're going to love doing that. So we've got panels, and we've got, let me just review quickly. This one is called Petal Pushers. This is Petal Pushers Remix. And oh, I forgot to tell you, this is a really fun thing. This is a boxed kit. So you can buy it already cut up and ready to go for your customers in a boxed kit. Darling, in a boxed kit. You can also cut it yourself from yardage. That's fine too. And then of course we have poppy fields and the Spokes Runner, Meadowland, which uses the yellows and greens and the grays, and then Think Positive, which uses the roly-poly, and then this one, which I was just showing to you, called Posy Party, and of course the retreat bag, which is called the Peddler Retreat Bag. So those are the quilts that are available with this really fun Petals and Pedals fabric collection. Now before we leave, I just want to remind you about the Jalili Studio Notions, which of course you can continue to get and are very, very popular. My maker paper, which is my heavyweight freezer paper, 3 times thicker than regular freezer paper and fits in your printer. And then of course my applique set that includes all of my notions, my polka dots for stitching, my applique glue which holds my pieces down, quilter's digit for forming your pieces with your preparing your applique, and your starch brush. And the applique set also includes the instructions and the bow and needles. Now I have a new notion which I'm very, very excited about. This, I don't know if you can see it very good here, but this new notion is called a Keeper Project Box. And you know that I have always packaged up my kits in clear plastic boxes. And I love to do that. And I've designed a box that is going to be great for shops to use to package your kits, or for quilters to use to keep their projects organized. It comes in 2 sizes. There's a 13 by 13, and it's 4 inches deep. And then the one that I use mostly for my kits, which is 12 by 9, and it is 3 inches deep. These make your quilting life very organized. This has a removable lid that comes off, so you can put it underneath when you're accessing the stuff inside of it. Get your project boxes. These, get them on order. They don't ship until next January, but we're looking forward to those being here too. Thanks so much for stopping by at Virtual Quilt Market. I hope that you had a good time seeing my new fabric collection, and I hope you order Petals and Pedals. Bye-bye.